What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Welcome to tonight's show, the Styles and Chevy recap. We are doing Loki season 3, episodes 3 through 5. Looking forward to discussing this show and all the things that have happened in season 2, episodes 3 through 5. Tonight, we're gonna do our spoiler-free reviews. We're gonna do some spoiler recaps, and we're gonna get ready for the season finale of Loki season 2, which is coming out tomorrow. First things first, I want to remind you to go over to our website over at gftradioshow.com, where we have all of our links to our socials, to our replays, to our audio. Also, check out our Facebook group, join the conversation, where we have a lot of fun. We have a great time talking about different topics and going over, social things and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you get us over at join the conversation group on Facebook. Also, check out our merchandise site at gftradio.creator-screen.com, where you can support us while we support you. We got tons of apparel, and we have things like accessories and cups, mugs, things like that. Hey, Chevy, how you doing?
Oh, shoot. Oh, my God. Hello. Hey.
caught you mid prep, huh?
Trying to get my life together. Woo.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. I totally feel you. I was actually just doing the same thing just before I jumped on, and I was like right at the end of it. Started the show like about 15 seconds late, but that's all right.
Okay.
Nobody's gonna notice. Nobody's gonna notice. But yeah, how you been doing?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Did you see? And this is off topic, folks. But did you see the email? Comic Con 2024 just dropped.
We already got our tickets.
Oh, you got the tickets already? Oh,
Yeah,
dang.
we did return and registration last
Oh, right.
Saturday.
Okay, got you.
What you
Yeah.
trying to go?
I don't know. I actually considered it because my son didn't get a chance to go. I took him to Motor City Comic Con, and then we had talked about it a little bit, and it was definitely a lot of fun. I had the most amazing time down there. Then we've been talking about San Diego a lot lately, so I'm like, dang, like it would be dope. It would be dope, but I don't know. It took a lot out of me. It took a lot out of me. So I mean, I really didn't want to go to Motor City Comic Con after all the stuff we did at Comic Con, at SDCC. So, but I'm definitely going to consider it because I think I got it like a week before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll figure it. I'll figure it out by then.
He just needs to make a member ID. That's all.
Yeah.
But Motor City next weekend.
Again? Wait.
This weekend, actually.
Wait, what did I take him to then? That was a few months ago. What was that?
I don't know.
What's the one in Royal Oak?
Royal Oak.
Not Royal Oak. Novi.
It's Motor City.
They have it twice a year?
They do. I mean, I guess they doing it again.
Oh, okay.
But it's this weekend.
Okay. Interesting.
Me and Devin gonna go. We want to get some stuff signed.
Is out Novi again?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I swear it was this year because I remember.
It might have been. I think it was one earlier this year, like in March or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like March or May, maybe March, because I feel like it was way before SDCC had popped, or not SDCC, WonderCon had popped up because WonderCon is in May, I believe, or something like that, or June.
Yeah, I think it was one. I think they did two this year. I don't know why.
Okay. Yeah, they trying to burn us out. I'm telling you, they're trying to make all the money they can, burn us out, whatever they can do. I don't know.
Well, we didn't even go to UmaCon this past weekend because UmaCon is a little ghetto now. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was last weekend.
Are you a fan of RDC?
What's that?
RDC World. They're a big YouTube group. Mark, Ben. They do a lot of anime stuff. Oh man, I'm trying to think.
Was it that them people y'all met at Comic Con?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know them.
Okay, because they do a big con down in Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was considering doing that one because I do want to go back to Texas. I've been to Houston and I want to go to Dallas, but I think theirs is in Austin, if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
and it's gotten pretty big. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I was considering that as well. But um, I'm not super huge into anime. But when I did MegaCon in Orlando, that was a big anime con, and I still had a great time. So I figured.
Yeah, it'd be fine. I
Yeah.
mean, it'd be cool. Because, I mean, when I started going to UMaCon, I didn't know what the heck was going on.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I think did I go to UMaCon once? I think I went to UMaCon twice. I think I went to the.
But
I went.
UMaCon is fun.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been to UMaCon a couple times. I think I went the first time I went by mistake. Like I didn't know. I thought it was something else. I didn't know it was UMaCon. And the
Oh.
second time when I saw it come back around, I was like, oh, let me go back and check that out. And so, yeah,
Ah,
definitely.
that's
But I
funny.
think that was the one, the first time I ever seen a con that had like on they had video games or like arcade
Yeah.
set up
Yeah.
at the con. So that was the
It's
first
just sad
time.
it's not 24 hours no more. Because the arcade rooms and the game
Yeah,
rooms used to be 24
24/7.
hours.
Yeah, yeah. So that's crazy. But I remember that. That's what got me there the first time. I didn't realize what it really was about. I just thought it was another Comic Con, but then I was like, oh, get down there. It's like, okay, so this is a whole pop culture con basically. So it was kind of dope to see the difference. But enough con talk. We'll get to what we came here for. Especially since we did get behind a little bit. We had a lot going on the last couple of weeks. I had a lot going on. I ain't gonna blame this on Chevy. This was all me. So I got a little overly busy and couldn't do last week's show. So Chevy graciously accepted my proposal to do this week and go over 3 episodes. So we're going to talk about episodes 3, 4, and 5, and talk about what happened with Loki season 2 and how it's going and where we expect it to go by tomorrow. And one correction I want to make as well is that it's kind of late to make this correction, but correction nonetheless. I kept saying last show that the show drops at midnight, but it drops at 9 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday, 6 p.m. On the West Coast, which is still odd, just odd as like I don't understand the whole fascination with trying to make this feel like a regular TV show, dropping releases on at a certain time of the day, certain time of the week. That's even worse to me because when I thought it was at midnight, it just felt like okay, you get the whole day to enjoy it, but no,
Right.
you're waiting until literally the end of the day into prime time. There's no such thing as prime time anymore. Like I don't understand that fascination
Yeah,
with
I don't even watch shows like, like they play The Simpsons on Sundays and stuff. I don't even watch this unless it's something I really, really want to see.
yeah,
I'll just wait till the next day when it's on Hulu. I don't be
exactly.
pressed about nothing no more, really.
Right.
I just
Well,
watch it
yeah,
on
I mean,
demand.
we exactly that we live in a world now where everything's on demand. Why would we want to be sitting waiting for a specific time to watch a show when you
I
know
don't
you
even know
literally
when stuff come on no more. Like if it's a show I watch, I don't even know what time it
no,
comes
no,
on anymore.
no, that's not even the issue. Now, my issue is I don't know what platform a lot of the stuff comes on anymore. We used to be able to say, oh, is that, like somebody would say, oh, have you checked out this show? And it's like, oh, you knew immediately to go to Netflix, or you knew immediately to go to, you know, Hulu. But now it's like you don't know where to go. You literally got to be told specifically what platform, which way you can get it, and then sometimes it's multiple. Like I heard about The Shy, right? I've been wanting to watch The Shy, and I was told that season 6 is dropping, but you got to watch season 6 on Showtime, which is also on Paramount Plus and on Prime. So it's like if you got Prime, you can get Showtime, and then you can watch The Shy, and vice versa. It's weird, but it also does not come on Hulu because it's exclusively on Showtime. It's weird.
Showtime. And so
Yeah.
unless you
So
got the Showtime part of Hulu, you can't watch it on Hulu.
exactly. Yeah.
It's
So
just like I just realized, right? So it's two shows that I was watching during Halloween season. It was this cartoon that I think I was telling you about that's set in like New Orleans, and then
mhm.
it's the Goosebumps show. So I was watching them on Hulu.
All right.
And, Hulu had the commercials in the middle. Then I realized that one was on Peacock and Goosebumps is on Disney Plus, and I could have been watching them without commercials the
Without
whole
commercials.
time.
Yeah, that's another weird one. Yes, yes, because now they're going to be dropping Marvel shows on Hulu as well, to kind of get them more exposure. But like you said, if you have Hulu with commercials, now you're going to be watching. Those people are going to be watching these same Disney Plus shows that we watch commercial free. They're going to be watching with commercials, or even worse. Like I'm a big fan of the marriage shows and the dating shows. I watch Married at First Sight, Love Is Blind, stuff like that. Married at First Sight is a Lifetime show, right? Now you can do Lifetime on Lifetime app. You can do Lifetime on the Lifetime website, or you can use the Lifetime TV streaming apps. The commercial lengths and frequency is completely different on every platform. Each platform has its own, frequency and length.
Yeah.
So it's the weirdest thing because I can be on one or one device and 50 million commercials, and then I go on another device and it's less commercials, but they're just longer. So yeah, it's just the oddest thing. But that's the world we live in. Everybody wants to be a
Mhm.
streamer. Nobody wants to let us just enjoy our shows.
Exactly.
I don't know. But anyway, once again, we're here to talk about Loki, so we're going to get on to that. But don't forget, make sure you like, follow, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when we are on here. And we're going to talk about, Loki season 2, episodes 3 through 5, starting with episode 3, which for some reason I don't have in my notes the name of the episode, but episode 3 picks up immediately following the events of episode 2, where there was a lot of issues with the temporal loom, and Doxiner Minutemen were pruning timelines, and there's a ping that they find off of Renslayer's temp pad. So now they know where to go to find her, and so we pick up there. And from a spoiler-free perspective, I don't know if you remember episode 3 enough to give it a rating,
Mhm.
but I
Mhm.
definitely feel like this show moved. It just kept moving my appreciation for it every episode. What do you think, or what do you recall your rating being for episode 3?
Episode 3, I have to give episode 3 like a 9
Oh,
because it was excellent.
yes.
To me, it was excellent. And I
Yeah.
mean, also, I'm a big Mixed Minutes fan, so
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
that was like her standout role in that episode. Also, it was just very
She stood
funny.
out a few times in that episode. That
Oh
was
yeah.
her whole villain arc was
Oh
was
yeah, yeah.
solidified. Like, we already knew she was a villain, but she got solidified. I know I might be giving away too much in a spoiler-free review, but this episode solidified her villain arc.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it was amazing to
Yeah,
watch.
yeah, I agree. So I'm not going to give it a 9, only because I feel like one of the other 2 episodes is better. So I'm gonna give it an 8.75.
Okay, so that's a Keith Lee score. That's
Right. I'm gonna give it an 8.81. Because the flavor was great, but I just know it's gonna get better once I let it marinate overnight. I was like, so I think when and I can't remember our ratings for 1 and 2, but I just remember us definitely talking about the fact that we knew this was going to get better, even though we felt like this was already one of the best shows that Marvel had made. And the way that this episode had me feeling at the end, I felt like there was more that could be more that could be felt. And as we know, they delivered a couple episodes later. But the thing is that knowing that from the way that this was written, I think that's a big accomplishment. You know what I mean? Because you can feel where they were going with this. It was something about I think it was the episode 1 where I felt like I didn't get that part of it. Like I was like I felt like they wanted us to feel something. It was when they were pruning the
Oh yeah, when they were
timeline,
pruning the timelines, yeah.
and it was like they want. I think I brought that up. I was like, they wanted us to feel bad for those timelines, but how could we, right? We didn't feel bad for those timelines. But in this episode, episode 3, I think the character development, the revelations that we got in this episode, and just the performance by Jonathan Majors, which, you know, I don't. I'm definitely gonna. I'm separating the art from the artist and saying that Jonathan Majors was amazing in this role. He just outdid himself. Miss Minutes. I mean, I forgot what is her name. Tara
Tara
Strong
Strong, yeah.
outdid herself in this episode, and she's not even really on the screen. We're just hearing her voice, and that voice is so eerie, and so you know what I mean. And which is funny because it's still a lively voice, but
Hmm.
the way she's delivering these lines and the way this story is going, and then just the stuff that they did, it's like top notch stuff. So yeah,
Hmm.
hands down, this episode definitely solidified for me that this Loki is like the best of the best when it comes to Marvel TV entertainment. Um, yeah, so let's get into the spoilers. So we got 2 other episodes to get through, 2 big episodes to get through. So yeah, episode 2 or season 2, episode 3 starts off like I said. We get into the history, basically the backstory for I want to call him Kane Prime, but he's not Kane Prime really. You know, to be honest, he's just a variant that is on the timeline.
Victor Wiley, ain't that his
Yeah,
name?
and it
Victor
was
Timely, whatever that
and,
is.
right, and before he hit the primary, he was just a little boy, a little black boy in a small section of Chicago. That and the funny thing is, as somebody mentioned in one of the recaps I watched, is that if you pay attention, he's making candles, and candles are time devices at that time as well as lighting devices, right? And so it was definitely a big play on the aesthetics there, you know. The set design in this show, and I can't remember if you brought this up or if I saw this in one of the recaps of how it's weird because we have these huge sets, and then sometimes we go back to the TVA and it's like, well, I want to get back to the huge sets again, you know. And but you know, it's like the detail, the level of detail that this show puts in place
For
to
a
not
TV
only
show.
for a TV show, right? Right. And I think that's one of the stars is this the set design. The set design on this show is freaking amazing.
The set
Amazing.
designs, the costumes, the fact that
Costumes.
they don't just go to the new time or the times that they're traveling in and they're not dressed the part. I mean, this episode was a whole like we took a trip
Mm-hmm.
because we were there for a while, you
Right,
know?
right, right.
I mean, I started thinking about like all the extras they got and all the people who were dressed in the costumes and all
Mm-hmm.
the people who had speaking lines in that episodes that weren't main characters and the little side things that were going on and the chase scenes. We had to get on a boat and we had to go to this house and we had to go to this lab and we had to
Yeah,
go to this place. It was so much stuff happened because the whole episode we were not at TVA. Like we popped
exactly.
out in Chicago. Like
Right.
that's where the episode started.
Yeah.
So we were literally in Chicago for that whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
And they made us feel like we were in whatever year it was at the
1868 to
world's
start in 1893 for the World's Fair. Yeah.
Fair in Chicago in 1868, and it looked like it. You couldn't have told me that's not where the hell they was at.
I
Okay.
know, right? I know, right? Like the whole atmosphere was perfect. Like the way that, like you said, the way that people were dressed, the background things, like you mentioned
Hot air
about, you know,
balloons.
yeah, right, exactly. And then, like you said, even just the conversations people were having in the background, it's like they did all that for one episode, not even a whole episode, for like 3/4 of an episode. They did all that work, put all that thought and all that detail into it. Top notch stuff. So, excuse me, they ended up going to 1868 to kind of show us what happened with Victor Timely being influenced by the TVA manual. Renoa Renslayer meets up with Miss Minute. She tells her like, "Hey, this is the plan. This is what he who remains told me, you know, needed to happen. I need you to do this. Drop this book off in this window. let time take its course. I don't know what it was. 25 years later, 1893 pops up, and they jump into that timeline, and now it's a branch timeline because this was originally on a sacred timeline when they got to 1868 and dropped off the book with Timely. And so then in 1893 we're in a branch timeline. So in this branch timeline, now he's a grown man. He's basically a charlatan, but he's read the art. He's read the book cover to cover, understands it, understands the technology, doesn't have the resources, but he definitely puts some of that knowledge to work and then creates his basically his penultimate device in its proof of concept for handling energy, managing it, and then taking it through and being able to basically twine it together, which is what we see he does in the future with the sacred timeline. He called it his temporal marvels. And so what's his name, Mobius and Loki, they ended up finding getting the ping off of Renslayer's Tempad. They go to the same timelines, and when they land in 1893, they realize they're at the World's Fair. Big deal. The one thing that was funny to me is that, it's 1893, right? So we're only a few years out of slavery, we're in the middle of Reconstruction era, and you got a man like Victor Timely, who's a black man, and
And a
he's
swindler.
and the swindler, and he's telling white folks things that they had never even thought of, basically showing them out from an intelligence level, but also, swindling some of them as well, and risking his life. Yeah, he was in the North, but still, that's something else. And I think it was awesome the way that they kind of still gave you that feeling, because I mean the way some of them was calling him
Call him
boy, the
boy.
way, yeah, and then way, when he it was something he said during his speech that basically was like,
Oh, he said, "You ain't gonna be able to do nothing with that boy," or something he said.
right, and then it was something
Because
he
I
said,
was sitting there like, okay, so y'all just gonna let the nigga talk. I was like,
right,
y'all gonna let him
exactly,
talk. Y'all gonna let him
right,
talk. And I said, okay, make it real for me. Thank you. I just
yeah.
wanted to make sure that we weren't just living in a world like this ain't a thing.
Exactly, and that's what solidified to me that they didn't spare any detail to make sure things were just more accurate, more kind of true to life, and the gasp in the audience when they realized he was a black man talking to them. That was perfect. It was so perfect. But yeah, and then the timeline, being that they were able to do this at a time where we really were in a basically a technological revolution, right? He talked
But
about
also
editing.
in a time where people swindled people like a mug
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
people were always looking for
The next big
advancements
thing.
and
Exactly.
wonders and things that they
Mhm.
had never seen before because the world was changing so fast.
Right. So yeah, so it was definitely so true to life. So everything kind of worked out the way it should. So yeah, so they end up running into a couple of people that wanted to buy his invention. He was selling the patent rights for $1,000, which was huge money back then. You got to think, especially if he really he really ain't planning to sell anything other than to get over on somebody. But the gang's all there. They meet up. They see each other. They go. They have some banter back and forth. In the meantime, there's a big chase scene, which is definitely part of course for Loki episodes now.
I was laughing so hard
Hmm.
because, you know, I have not seen Jonathan Majors at this point play any character that's funny.
Oh right.
He go from Lovecraft to playing these, characters that are serious or,
Hmm.
in these worlds where he is that character where he's not comical in any way.
Right.
And, we know he's a serious actor and we take him as such, but like That chase scene might as well just had that music. That
Exactly. Right.
it was so funny the way he
Mhm.
played that. He played in that moment. I said, "Man, I hope he get it together because this man, he is something different.
Right. Right.
Nothing like him in a long time
Mhm.
because he is something else. Because he ain't playing this like he is a comedian. This is just this character that he is playing, and the fact that you are playing the same guy for the third time theoretically,
Oh, right. Right.
and you are bringing a whole new energy to him, but I still see him. I still see the other
Yeah.
two in
Exactly.
you at the
Mhm.
same time. So I don't know whether to laugh, be scared, or really just be like, so is this the joke version of him, or like what's going on? Like,
Right.
you know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Even the voice, that was the thing that got me was like he had this whole different way of
Like
speaking.
stutter and
Yeah.
but what I realized about all of them, all of the versions of Kang the Conqueror that he's played, they all had some kind of thing with the way they spoke,
Yes.
whether
Yeah.
they spoke very slow or very stern, or you know, whatever it was. So I just thought it
Mhm.
was so interesting that I could still see those other characters in this character, in
Right.
this scene where he being hilarious because he just so playing like like he don't know what's going on, but he also know exactly what's going on. Because when he was like,
Right.
"Look, y'all," when they was chasing him, and then Loki and Mobius popped up on, he's like, "Look, y'all, I'm a crook actually, and I
Exactly.
gotta go. Like I got
Right.
to go. Like
Like I don't have time for this foolishness. We can talk about this later. We gotta leave. That was wild. They called him out and he was like, "It's time to leave, y'all. Let's go." He wanted to spit game to Renslayer so bad, but he also was like, "We need to leave, ma'am. We need to move. We
oh my
got things to do.
god,
We'll meet at my
that was
office later. Like we gotta
so
go."
funny. That was so funny. And then here comes Sylvie.
Oh yeah, yeah. And so Sylvie pops in. Sylvie just want to kill anybody that looks like he who remains.
And
So
I'm just fed up with
on and
her.
popping.
And I'm just fed up with her.
Right.
Because girl, what why can't you just like listen for 2 seconds?
Hmm.
Like, why can't you want these timelines to be saved? He the only one that can help save them, and you trying to kill him, but you care about these timelines. Is that the truth? Is that actually the truth?
Yeah, she's too hell bent on revenge and stopping him versus realizing that two things can be true at the same time. You can't get rid of him and try to be I care about the timelines at the same time when you don't realize like look, this man is going to help stop the destruction of all of this if you let him do what he got to do. He don't even know what he's got to do, but let him do what he's got to do before you go making these rash decisions.
But that scene was hilarious too because Loki, Sylvie, they doing what they doing. Loki all trying to be serious because he in love with another version of himself, and then he back in the back. Oh, oh no, oh, and I'm just like,
Right,
I
right,
can't. And Miss
exactly.
Minutes, oh my gosh, she done turned into the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man
All
on
right.
these people in the
Uh,
damn Times Square, the town square. I mean, I was laughing so fucking hard. Like I was laughing
right.
so hard because this, from the time that man tried to fight Loki
Hmm.
all the way up until they got out of this situation. Well, I don't even know this whole to the end of the dang on episode.
Right.
I could not stop laughing
Hmm.
between Miss Minutes and Victor Timely. They had, I was just going through because they were cracking me up. Like,
Right.
because of
Right.
the things that they were doing in the midst of everything that is happening, the way Miss Minutes and Victor Timely was doing their own thing
Right. Hmm.
at the same time while all of this is going on just was killing me.
Right.
It was literally killing me.
Yeah.
Like
But yeah, and that was the thing too, the whole Miss Minutes thing, because it was like, okay, so she once she's like, okay, I gotta help them escape. So she turns it, like you said, to the giant ghost clock thing, and then so they get back to the escape or to the hideout place where he had his little office, and they're all patting each other on the back, and then they talk about being partners, and he's like, ooh, partners, I don't know about that, like but then Miss Menace is like, hey, look, let's just lay low with me. Let's talk about this. And by the way, like, why you never gave me a body? Like, what's up with that? And then
like,
I was like, what is Miss Menace
oh
on?
my
Miss
gosh, no,
Menace, you
like even
wilding for this.
the scene where they went to his little house, right? And
Uh-huh.
Renslayer, she come and she sit in his little refrigerator chair, and he all like, yeah, girl, this is my refrigerator chair. And
Right.
then she's like, well, we're here to help you. Renslayer,
Mhm.
like, let me tell you what's going on. And he like, yeah, baby, you could tell me what's going on. But Miss Minutes in the background, but let me tell you what's going on. And then she's like,
Right.
well, let me tell you what's going on. And then here come Miss Minutes all in the background making all these faces while she talking like this.
Exactly.
You gonna cut me off. And then she
Uh-huh.
comes sit on her lap like, look, she talking, but I am talking. And I'm like, oh, Miss Menace is in love with him. I
Yep.
knew it from that moment. Like when
Yeah.
she cut her off and Miss Menace looked at her like, who you cutting off? I
Right.
said, oh Lord, the AI is in love with this man. Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
So
Crazy.
he running from the law. Loki and Mobius trying to find them. They done
Mhm.
hid in a piece of wood in the wall because he a swindler. He be running for people all the dang
It's
on
not all the
time.
time. Exactly. He ready.
They done got on a boat, sitting there talking, chatting it up. You feel
Mhm.
me? Miss
Right.
Minutes over here, mad as hell. Mad as hell. But then there's a twist. Miss Minutes convinced this man to push Renslayer off the dang on boat.
That was crazy. Like he, and I mean, it's like, yeah, we could tell he wasn't feeling the whole partnership thing, but to take it to that level, like he like, yeah,
Because
no,
of AI told you.
hey, I told you to. He like, yeah, nah, you right.
Oh my
I ain't
God.
about to be in no partnership. Nah, I don't care what it is. She like, yeah, just let that one go. Just let that one go.
I laughed so loud and so
Why you get
hard
double crossed by Miss Minutes like that?
because I was like, no, Miss Minutes didn't do that to her. Like
And
this
didn't
woman,
care. And didn't
this
care.
AI lady is amazing, but also terrifying. Like,
Mhm.
so they, like you were saying, they get to his office.
Mhm.
And she talking like, yeah, we sat up all night playing chess, talking about life, talking about this, talking about that. But I really just don't understand why you didn't give me no body. And he like, girl, I don't even know what the hell you talking about because that
Exactly.
wasn't
He's like,
even
this
me.
wasn't even me. Right, right.
Now when she flipped to that mannequin
Oh, that was
and
creepy.
she,
That was creepy. That was real
and she
creepy.
oh my God. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I was like, this is amazing because this has taken a turn. You hear me?
Yep, yep.
Oh my God. So what happened after that? I can't even remember.
So
Did
yeah,
he shut her
so
down or
then yeah,
something?
so he kind of he kind of eased his way out of that one, and then I think that's when uh, Mobius and
Mobius
Loki
and
show
Loki
up.
came.
Yeah, they show up. They try to first they talk to Renslayer. Then I think they also talked to Sylvie, and they kind of finally got Sylvie to kind of chill out for a minute. Timely was pleading for his life and everything.
But
Let
see, that's when I started kind of wondering, like, maybe he not a bad dude yet.
exactly, yeah, yeah, and I think that was the thing is that we had to remember. He kind of told us. He said, "Look, I'm not he who remains. I'm not that guy. At least I'm not that guy yet. And I'm not that guy. I'm not in that position. To understand even what's going on, let alone to do what you think I'm doing, you know. And so I think that really got to Sylvie, that, you know, made sense to her, because she, you know, I think she was really ready to kill that man,
But
but
I
you
think
know,
it's base goes back to like the whole thing that she constantly trying to fight for is a choice. Like everybody has a choice, and you have been told your whole life the reason why your timeline was pruned is because your destiny was predetermined, that something you were going to do or something that was going to happen on your earth or your world was going to damage or destroy something, which means you had no chance or choice in where your life will lead. And I think it all goes back to the fact he won her over by saying that, because if you kill him, then you are taking away his choice, which is what someone did to you.
you exactly. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Oh, you know, I forgot the way he got out of the situation with Miss Minutes. He disabled her. That's what he
Oh,
did.
that's what he did. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Because he
because he was.
needed to, honey child. He
Yeah,
was
yeah, because she was getting a little weird. She was getting way too weird, way too creepy, and so yeah, so he
no,
ends
like,
up.
because you remember her cheeks got rosy when she.
Exactly, exactly.
I
So
was
yeah,
like, girl, you are embarrassing yourself. This ain't
totally.
even him.
Right.
Like,
Ain't even the same guy, but she like, hey, she got starry eyed. She had finally got Renslayer out the way. She was like, oh, it's on and popping. But yeah, so he ends up. That's how they end up catching up with him. Loki, Mobius, and Renslayer all catch up with him. But then Sylvie shows up. They go through that back and forth. Loki and Mobius, you know, get him out of there. Convince Sylvie to stand down, and then she's like, hey, well, you know what? If nothing else, I'm about to take care of Renslayer. And she confronts her, you know, lets her know that, you know, that it's her little reign of power is over, that she's, you know, she's tired of her. She's taking that part from her. And then she pushes her into the time door, or leaves her through the time door back where the original He Who Remains is corpse is there
which I
at
thought
the
was
center of the
cool.
time. Yeah, I know, right? Like, wow, that's crazy. You know,
I'm
because
like, he's
we
just
definitely think about that.
zombified.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And you know, the whole citadel is crumbling, is falling apart, and
Then here
when she
come Miss
gets
Minutes.
there, she lets Miss Minutes out, and then
And she like, what
yeah,
happened to you? What happened to
exactly,
you? They acting like they just wasn't at each other's throats.
right, exactly,
But
exactly.
then Miss Minutes really showed her villainy when she flipped it and was like, girl, you know what? Forget him. I thought he was gonna be different this time, but he's still on that same mess. So you know what, girl? We gonna get him. You should be the leader. And you know what, girl? I got a secret to tell you.
Yep,
Like,
big secret, big secret. So that was, and you know, like you said, that was the crazy part, was like the all these people kind of basically prejudging Victor Timely based on his variant, you know, not
right.
realizing that you can't keep judging all these variants based on either their original timeline or their future timelines in another universe, because they're not the same. They're different people. They're leading different lives. They may not even go. They may not even be on the same path. You know, to be honest. You know, and we're going to figure that out later on. Is that, you know, even Victor Timely, being the type of man he is, he's not He Who Remains. You know, he's not. He's definitely not Kang the Conqueror. You know, so and I think we're still up in the air of like, is Kang He Who Remains? Is Timely He Who Remains? Is He Who Remains anybody? You know, I theorize He Who Remains is his own entity. That's my theory. I feel like he actually is a variant of a variant that came into power. And I feel like, although he believes he's in a loop, I don't feel like he's really the same variant in the loop. I feel like he's a variating variant that eventually comes to power, has those same memories and thoughts because he can see the whole timeline once he gets his full power. But the thing is, I don't think he's the same variant every time. I think every time he goes through that loop, it's just another variant
So
that
you
just
think
happens
like
to.
it's a different variant of him that finally realizes, oh, I'm the problem. The problem is me.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna do these things to get to this point, and now I'm here again, and then these things continue to happen.
Exactly. So that's why I feel like the Kang we met in Ant-Man is not the Victor Timely we met in episode 3, and it's definitely not
But he
the
can
He Who
be
Remains that we met in
potentially.
episode, or at the end of Loki season 1. I feel like they're all their own variant entities, but they're all part of the same consciousness that basically will eventually make their way back to the
To
Citadel at
the
the end of time.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
because every time they come to some kind of resolution with themselves that, oh yeah, I've been doing all this stuff, but I'm not
Yes.
really the problem.
And I think that's the thing. And He Who Remains made that clear. Is it was the self awareness that we were so smart yet so careless. He made that comment.
I mean, but you can even say that about Victor Timely. No, what he's doing on a small scale is not anything.
Hmm.
But that same tool he was using to swindle people could have killed all those people in that room.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I'm saying? The things he are doing, even though they're on a small scale, if he continues to do those things, even on a small scale, can cause a catastrophic thing to happen
Right.
in the city of Chicago, in you know what I'm saying? Because of the things that he's doing, the things that he's using, the technology that he's using. So even though he may not be, because I mean, just like we look at Loki and they say every Loki is a villain, every
Right.
Loki is a problem, every Loki does things that they're not supposed to do, and that's their pattern and that's their character and that's what they do. Just because Kang the Conqueror is, or whomever he want to be today,
Hmm.
is
Right.
self-aware doesn't mean that he doesn't have a trait and a personality thing, and what he adds to the timeline isn't dangerous in some way, just as bad as Loki or anybody else that adds or takes away from their timeline.
Right. Right. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so episode 3, that was the end of that one. I don't think it had anything else that it really revealed at the end of that. But we got to see Victor Timely kind of get out of that situation with Sylvie. He had his run in with Miss Minutes and with Renslayer, but now they're going to take him back to the TVA so they can show him what's really going on. Renslayer is stuck at the end of time with Miss Minutes. Like you said, Miss Minutes is promising her to tell her a really big secret that's going to definitely get her pumping and ready to take over and be, in charge and take control instead of allowing He Who Remains to become the one that takes control. Then we have the evolution of Sylvie, right? It's not even a real evolution yet, but we're seeing her finally kind of like taking a step back, and standing down just a little bit, So we have that. So yeah, episode 4 starts up, immediately after, like literally immediately
Yeah,
afterwards.
literally them walking through the time door into the TVA.
Exactly. And so, from a spoiler-free review, what did you think of episode 4, and what did you rate it?
A 9.
Hands down, hands down, like ridiculously hands down, a 9 for sure. I agree. Yeah, I mean, without just going ahead and just jumping into it, I mean, I just feel like that episode, it was everything. Like that episode was crazy. It was a lot going on. There was only a couple of little small, slow points, but they were still necessary in one way or another. Definitely left us with some questions, and of course a big, huge, cliffhanger at the end.
A big, huge question.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah, I mean, it was just well done. I mean, this show always gonna win because it's like I'm watching a movie. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like people who watch shows that are of the supernatural, science fiction, those types of genres, we know what we have been subjected to
right.
as far as what we get. when a show comes out. And yeah, this is Disney, this is Marvel, this is Loki, this is Thor's brother, this is Loki. But that don't mean nothing because we know the type of quality we can get from even the levels in the likes of American Horror Story, Doctor Who, etc., 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 Supernatural, whatever it is we watching, Lucifer, even.
Mm-hmm.
We can get bad CGI, we can get bad costumes, we can get small scenes and sets that never change, that are always the same areas. This person's house, this person's bar, this person, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I don't care what show you watch. If you watch these kinds of shows, you know that they don't splurge even when the show becomes successful. They
Right.
keep it small. This part, like I said, if you watch Charmed, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Lucifer, even Xena, I don't care what you're watching, these sets are small.
Mm-hmm.
Upload is a new show that's out on Amazon right now, and it's bad. Like CGI is bad. It's on its third season, and they still have not put money in it to make you feel like it's real to you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's, we always get that. We always get the short end of the stick because people don't want to put the money into a True Blood, or you know what I'm saying? It takes them
Right.
so long. It's the third or fourth season where we start seeing real looking things and stuff like that. So even though Loki is Loki and
Mm-hmm.
Disney is Disney and all of that, I am just so impressed by how they can make this show feel so real and
Right.
large
Yeah.
and and massive for a TV show.
Indeed. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. I mean, but between not only like you said the sets, but just the detail in the sets, just the level of you know all of the what is it the interconnectivity of certain things, the way they can play off of certain things in the room or in that world that they're created. They basically building worlds,
Yeah.
and that's just unheard of for a TV show.
Yeah. And the fact that this is the only show I feel, I don't care how much you like the other Marvel shows,
Right.
okay? Whatever. This is the only show on Disney Plus that is a Marvel show that they're doing this for. Period.
Yeah. True that. True that. So yeah, so season two, episode 4. Spoiler recap. Let's just get right into it. So like I said, we jump right into the Citadel. Miss Minutes gives Renslayer the lowdown on what really happened so many eons ago or whatever millennia ago, and
Which it really didn't shock me though. I'm just
yeah,
put that out there before you even say what it is.
yeah, yeah. I think the only thing that was kind of shocking to me, I wouldn't say shocking. The only thing that I was surprised by is the fact that she plays such a pivotal role herself already in that he and then he used the same word that he said that he seemed to be cowering from an episode ago, was the fact that he said that we were partners in this, and he was telling her that she was pivotal to him winning that multiversal war. And but then again, he's still, you see how he do his partners.
Right, right. But I mean, my whole thing was I don't feel like he did it with ill intent. I think he did it for a reason that
Yeah.
was necessary to whatever it was that he was trying to do. But I think because they want us to understand from the comics that they were more than just partners, that they
Yeah.
wanted us to take that in a different way than I took it. Because I'm like, I mean, why would she even believe him? Like, I would have thought, okay, sir, thank you for the compliment. I don't know why you would want to partner with me. You are the guy. You are the guy. What you need me for? Like, you know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know?
And not only that, I think that, whatever she did to help him through this whole situation, I'm pretty sure she understood the ramifications of what he was doing, and she
Exactly.
understood, that his whole thing, and like you said, I think what they were trying to definitely show us is that there wasn't an ill intent. It was definitely like a protection mechanism. Like, I can't sit here and both save the multiverse and then be a part of it at the same time. Like, that's not an option. I'm the reason the multiverse is messed up as it is. So I can't
Oh,
sit
so
here.
you think he did it because he had to disconnect himself from everything he was connected to in the real world to be able to do what he needed to do there.
Exactly, because every bit of his presence, is a corruption to the multiverse, and
Yeah.
I think that, and that was the kind of the sad part, thinking back on what He Who Remains was going through as his thing of, like, I'm sitting here, I know everything that's going to happen, I can see all the time, I can craft all the time, but the problem is I can't even be a part of this, because at, at the risk of destroying it all again, I have to be separated from all of this and just allow it to be without me.
Yeah. And I think that's crazy when you say that, because when you think about this character, especially for somebody like me who didn't read the comics, you kind of take the humanality out of him
Mm-hmm.
when you look at him as a He Who Remains or Kang the Conqueror. And every time somebody say his name, it's like, oh, because Kang,
Right,
it's
right.
like you don't remember that this was once just a person, just a kid,
Yeah,
just a man, just a
right.
person who had dreams and hopes and desires, and it kind of went left somewhere,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you learn too much, you're too smart for your own good, and you kind of just like Tony Stark or anybody else. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And
And they all go through that, right? You got Tony
yeah,
going through that. We're going to see Reed Richards go through that. Reed Richards is Kang's ancestor, So there's a lot of people that go through that where they're just too
yeah,
smart for their own good, but then
too
they
smart for
also
their
have
own
these
good.
high hopes for either humanity, the world, or the universe, and then they realize that they're part of the problem.
Yeah, yeah. Now Thanos, he is not from the Earth, so I don't know how he was brought up. Okay, so you can't look at him like that.
No,
But
no.
he
Thanos.
was he was a human man. He lived in a human man's house, and not only was he a human man, he was a human black man.
Yeah,
So, with that being said, you forget that he was once a human man,
right,
because if you didn't know him from like reading the comic books or whatever, who he was before he became this version of what you hear about,
right.
you think everything he's doing is bad. You think every move he's making is bad. You think every step he's taking is ill and has an ill intent towards it. So you never give him a chance, and you never look at anything that he does from a manner of, well, I mean, because when he said he was sorry, I was kind of like, why would he be sorry? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right,
because it's like what you heard about him, what you saw Kang do,
right.
it's just like it don't add up. And I think that's the most confusing part about his character, because even in Ant-Man, we saw a tender version of him at a point.
At a point, exactly. Yeah.
And what what I really don't know from my perspective, just because I don't read comics, is what shifted came to that. What are the changes that made him not only change here but everywhere, because he's not theoretically a villain in a sense. You know what
Right,
I'm saying? In every version of the world he's in, his goal to whatever humanity or whatever he's trying to do is just a different course than most people would take. So it kind of makes him a villain. And I mean, I'm kind of sounding like I'm a Thanos fan right now, but that I'm not. So but I just think it's interesting when you look at a character like that, and they're trying to build the character out by showing different versions of him, but at the end of the day, because of his reputation precedes him so much, that even when you're watching him, you can't be objective about what his intent is,
Right. What's
because you
driving
don't.
him? What's really
Yeah,
driving him to that? And I mean, this is the thing. You got to think. The Kang we met in Ant-Man already had this vision. He already had this not vision. He already had this insight into the multiverse. Right. He told Janet Van Dien that he saw the multiverse dying. Right. And he had already put two and two together. Like, okay, why is it dying? What's causing this? And he realized, like, wait a minute, this is because of people like me who decided that we were so big and so smart and so clever that it was okay to do what we were doing. And then I realized we aren't. And now I know that the only answer is that some of us have to stop, or we have to just stop doing what we're doing in
but
general.
that's the crazier part about him too, is all the versions of him are trying to destroy each other because they know all the versions of them is trying to
Destroy each other,
destroy each
exactly.
other.
Yeah, and then that's the question, right? Are some of these versions really out with the intent of destroying others only because it's survival of the fittest, or mutual, trying to prevent mutual destruction, or is it, some of them also have nefarious reasons because they feel like, oh, I just want my, certain, universe, and these other, allies of mine to survive, and the rest of you can just go. I mean, that's the thing, is that they're not all driven by the same goal. They have a similar insight, or they have a similar knowledge. They don't all have the same goals, though.
It's so
Yeah,
interesting when
it
you think
is.
about it, like the and then the all of these people and all of these worlds and all of these different lives, but it's all the same person and they all on the same path in some way, shape, or form. But it's crazy.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
it's crazy.
That's a
Yeah.
lot to think
So we,
about.
we, we'll fast forward through this one a little bit. So we already know that the loom is about to explode. Ob tells them what's going on. He has a plan. He wants to expand the loom, increase the throughput. Victor Timely has a solution, after going through the whole back and forth of, like, do I trust these people? Do I know what's really going on?
They
Once he
trying to
meets,
get autographs
right,
and
once he meets Ob, then he realizes, like, wait a minute, like, this is all kismet. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is how this is supposed to go. He starts to see the big picture, and so they come up with the plan on how they can use his throughput multiplier in order to increase the size and allow more branches to fit and be able to handle more of the radiation, and then reduce it to more time streams. They go to get the pie. Sylvie calls Mobius out about, just taking this also
yeah, a lot of
nonchalantly.
people trying to read Mobius for filth. Like, what did Mobius ever do to you?
I know, right? Right. I mean, when Brad, did it, it's like, I got it. I get him. Where he's going, especially because he's now touched his timeline, and either, he got rid of his original self, or he went to a branch of that didn't have him in there. Bottom line, he knew that there was something about it. Like, hey, you know what? This is a thing. We did have these lives. This was, where we were taken from. We were people at some point. And it does get you to question, Mobius, what's the deal? Why don't you want to see this? Why don't you want to understand this? He's fighting for this, fighting for the lives of others. Like, you don't want to fight for your own. But then I also get Mobius's point. It's like, you know what? This is all I know, and I don't want to know how bad it was or how good it was, because then it shifts. It's either going to shift or corrupt my thinking on what I'm doing.
Exactly. And I mean, and I also feel like, how I keep talking about Thanos, but you know how Thanos did everything he wanted to do, and then he went on home and sat on down,
Yeah,
made his food. What if Mobius just want to see it through, and then he can start thinking about himself? He do seem like a pretty selfless guy,
yeah,
you know.
for sure.
But it's funny. I was talking to Devin about this, and I was telling him he should be on here tonight because he made some good points. But he was saying that he was wondering if the reference to getting pie was a callback or a reference to or shout out to Men in Black, you know, because
Oh,
they
yeah.
always go get pie to figure out how to resolve the issues at
Exactly.
hand.
Yeah, it's basically a method of like, let's slow down, let's take a step back, and let's figure this thing out. Yeah, and yep, that's true. That's a good one. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
he was basically saying like maybe the reason why things didn't work out is because Sylvie didn't let them go get pie.
Oh, right. Oh man, I didn't think about that. Yeah, yeah, she definitely stopped us from getting the pie. Now look what we got left with. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so the once again, Miss Minutes steps in.
Oh
so
my God. Oh my
so
God.
after
That
Loki,
scene of him
yeah,
getting the ice, I mean the that hot chocolate scene before he got captured, that was hilarious. Um, but what they went back. Wait, they popped up on them in the cage, in the lockup,
in
right?
the lockup, right? So Miss
Yeah,
Minutes
okay.
and Renslayer, they track down Docs and her crew, and they're going there and they go try to convince them like, hey, come with us, be part of our team, help us take a TVA over,
Or
or don't, right? And so they decide to make an example out of them, but Brad, good old Brad, he's like, you know what, I'm with it. I'm down with the plan. Nobody else is with that plan. They saw what where this was going, and good for them. I thought Docs was
I
really
mean, was it?
was on something. Well, good for them for the time being until they all ended. All ended bad. That was crazy though. Like they really
No,
went
Miss
that
Minutes
far.
is sick.
Miss
Miss
Yeah,
Minutes is
exactly.
sick.
Yeah. The way she was
She's
looking, like she was
sick.
happy
Like,
to
but
do it.
why was she smiling? Like while they was being crushed. I mean, I think it's still amazing. I think her character is so well done.
Mm-hmm.
I freaking love her. I love bad guys except for Thanos. But she is amazing because she is a twisted lady. She is a
Very twisted.
twisted lady. She
Yeah.
was back there smiling while they got crushed. I said, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, this is." But what was crazy is because before I saw that scene, I saw a little article about it, and I was just like, "What are they talking about? You can't even see anything." I was just like, like I wanted to see it.
Right. Yeah.
That's just me.
But the look on her face said it all. That said it all.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh." I was
Yeah.
like, so that's what that thing do for real.
Right.
I
Right.
was like, do it leave stuff behind or do it like just go everywhere after they close the box back? Like,
I think they needed to clean up on aisle four. They definitely needed
okay,
to clean up
okay,
on aisle four
okay,
because
okay.
it was sounding pretty disgusting. It was sounding disgusting. Yeah. So after they leave out, Brad leaves with Miss Minutes and Renslayer. Obi and Tommy, they finish up their device. Casey figures out some stuff, and they realize that their temp pads aren't working. I think
Oh, because my other best part. This is another reference I feel to Jurassic Park.
yes, this was a big reference to Jurassic Park. Yes,
Uh
yes.
uh uh.
Right,
Access
right.
is denied. I just watched Jurassic Park the other day. It's you don't have you didn't say the right word. But yes,
Right.
that was as soon as she did it, I was like, that's Jurassic Park, bro. Because
Yeah,
that's my movie.
yeah.
I loved it. I
Yeah,
loved it
he was shutting
so
everybody out, shutting all the systems down, and that was the thing they were saying. Like, when she comes back and she comes back online, either she can help them or she can hurt them. And she decided she was going to hurt them, and so she started shutting down their temp pads. She was denying their access to everything because they needed to reboot. They needed to not reboot, but they needed to get into the
to the
they
to the
to the glass doors. They need to
yeah
be able to get
to the
to the
temporal
room.
loom
Yeah,
thing.
they need to be
Yeah.
able to get into the loom area. And so she locked that down. But then they ended up figuring out that, if they could just get the system rebooted, then they could clear her out of the system and kind of, start things over and then be able to get through the blast doors at that point. Um,
But in the midst of that, this man went to go get some dang on hot chocolate, and it's just so impressing to him. And he
Right,
gets
right. What was
caught
that?
up.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like I didn't. That was a slow part. That was like,
I thought that was hilarious because
yeah,
theoretically, a scientist from that time who had just made his own refrigerator seats would be very intrigued by a machine that makes hot chocolate, I
right, yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah. I guess that makes sense. That makes sense.
But
Makes sense.
he gets caught and taken to his girls. And
Yeah,
that scene, she gonna say, I'm working on myself.
right, right.
Miss Minnie, I'm like, this girl is a trip.
Literally.
Um, yeah, but he played coy, but he did a pretty good job stalling them. He
Oh
did a
yeah,
pretty good job
oh,
stalling
yeah.
them.
Because he automatically knew what was he knew what was up at that point. He was putting everything together at that point. So yeah, he was able to stall them. Loki and Sylvie, they're running through the TVA trying to figure some stuff out. They get separated, and this is when we realize that the person that
The
pruned
future has
Loki
come to pass. So
exactly was Loki. That was who pruned him. And so we see that time slip moment, see him prune himself. The only thing I was disappointed in was the phone call because it turned out the phone call was nothing. It was just another joke. I was like, really, really, Marvel,
yeah, yeah.
really. I was expecting that to be something, revealing, something epic, something weird, something crazy. It was just Obi and Casey talking about where y'all at, what's going on, like, bruh,
But then
bruh.
it got kind of crazy after that because Sylvie, I didn't expect this to happen right here. So basically, Sylvie, what's the boy name? Uh, what's the boy name? The actor and that
Brad,
man, Brad, come out there to fight them.
yeah,
She take over his mind. He go right in there and kill Ric Flair. I'm
right,
like, damn, wait a minute. Oh,
right,
and they done shut down Miss Minutes, and she gonna say, "Wait, I have something to tell you. You'll never be him." I'm like,
right.
this
Oh,
woman
that
is
was our call.
crazy.
That was our call. She was like, "You'll never be him." I'm like, "Oh,
I'm
damn."
like, this is correct. Miss
But that
Minutes
she
is
called it. But that's my thing. Just that right there was her calling it for me that he is not he who remains. Victor Timely is not the same person as he who remains. Because she knew it. She's like, he's not. You're not him. You're not him.
like
You wouldn't let this happen.
she read him. She
Mm-hmm.
read him. I'm like, girl, you still need to work on yourself because you is about crazy as hell.
Exactly.
Uh, then Ric
Exactly.
Flair get killed, and I'm like, damn, I did not expect that to happen
They
like
done sent
that.
her, they done sent her right. They done pruned her, and then Loki and Sylvie grab Timely. They run to the loom, scan his aura. They got the reboot going on. It shuts down Miss Minutes.
Now, see, but this is when I thought that he was on some bull again because after they scanned him in and got everybody ready, Loki said he was gonna do it, and then he said he was gonna do it. Victor said he was gonna do it. I said he gonna go out there and smile at them and say, "Gotcha," and because I'm like, oh, but that ain't even what happened at all.
Yeah, yeah, because he runs out there and oh my god, my mouth was so wide open. I thought it was not in game. It was what was the other movie where
Doctor
everybody
Strange.
no where everybody got dusted? What movie was that?
Infinity War.
Infinity War. I thought it was Infinity War all over again. When that man got spaghettified and the scream he let out, the
Oh
scream he
my
let out,
gosh.
I was done, like
I had to
outdone.
rewind it because I didn't even realize what actually happened. I was confused. I was like,
No,
what?
I wasn't confused. I was outdone. I was like, oh my God, like they just killed this man. They literally just killed this man. And for me, it was like the shock of like, one, they killed this man because we saw him go out there. He screamed, his body spaghettified, and then the loom is exploding, and we're
Yeah.
watching Loki, Casey, Obi, Mobius all sitting there looking like, what? It's nothing they can do. They just about to die, or they about to get blown away.
I actually really just didn't understand what was about to happen. I was like, so what
Yeah.
the hell happens in the TVA when that happens? Like, what the hell happens?
Right.
Like,
Well, and that was my fear was like, okay, does that is that the end of the pocket universe? Is that end of the universe? Because now you got these timelines just out all willy
Out
nilly
here, just
in
out here. I
Curzon
mean, but
City.
shit, they was out there before. He was just using the loom to suppress them.
Yeah,
So I really didn't know, like, if it explode, like, if is this like actually an explosion that can affect them, or is this like, I didn't know. I
right.
really just didn't freaking know. But
I At the time I theorized that, one, we had lost Victor Timely, but two, we had also lost everybody in the TVA. That whatever happened there, whoever wasn't there or whoever was able to escape, i.e., Loki, Sylvie, that they would be spared, but everybody else is basically gone. Only their variants go on to live, right? Because they're in the other timelines. But then that was the question: it's like, how long do these other timelines last with these unchecked, incursions happen? You know, and it was that was just a lot all at once. It was a lot, and it was scary because it was like, wow, like these people are dying. This is not
yeah, I was
this
just
is
like,
this
I
is
don't
not
even
it.
know. I ain't even know. I
Yeah,
was just like, I don't even know what this means. I don't even know. But Devin also made a theory. Had said something about this too. He basically was like, he was like, basically to him, and went back to what Brad was telling him about how Loki is a villain. Loki never
mhm.
wins. Loki
Right,
never is going to be the hero. And then after everything that they did in this moment, to try to make this right, to try to fix this, his last image of whatever, because we don't know if he's going to die. We don't know what's happening, right? We
right,
don't know if he gonna wake up in his bed in Asgard tomorrow. You know what
yeah,
I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah,
And don't even remember
exactly.
this happened and thought it was a bad dream at this point. But in that moment, like, because I didn't even think about it like that, because I was thinking about everything else.
Hmm.
They zoomed in on his eyes. He didn't just look afraid, he looked defeated. And
Yeah,
Devin was basically saying, like, in his eyes, I could see that the words that Brad told him kind of rang true to him in that
we're hit. Yeah,
moment,
exactly. It hit him. It hit him. Yeah,
because he didn't succeed. He didn't win. He tried to shed an image of himself. And even with him trying to fight for this, it still didn't work in his favor.
right, right. Yeah, he
So
was he was he
even,
was doomed to fail as usual, as he always does. He was doomed to be in the center of something that he couldn't fix.
yeah, yeah. And I was like, dang, I didn't even think about all that, because I
Sad,
was
sad,
just
sad state to be.
also, I will say they did a great job with their social media, like just deleting everything and putting that
Oh,
access denied,
really?
and
I missed
then
that.
putting times up y'all as the um like little
The
description of
captain.
the page. Yeah, the
Yeah,
caption of the page. I thought that was amazing.
really,
They literally
really.
deleted everything, put one picture. Well, it was the video of her saying access denied, and then it was
Yeah.
just a picture of that, and then it just said time's up, y'all.
That's wild. Oh
Yeah.
wow, wow! I missed that. Dang. Yeah, but I watched 55 different recaps that week, but I was done. I was like, oh my god, this is, but that was the time when I got that feeling. I finally got that feeling like this is high stakes. This is really happening. This is really going down. Even though it's episode 4, it's still really going down, and we don't know where it's going. We don't know how it's going to pan out. And then we got episode 5, which I'm talking about fan service to the max, because we got to see so much fan service in this episode. And for episode 5, spoiler free, what did you rate episode 5?
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it was like a 7 to me. I
You
ain't
gave it a
really,
7? Okay,
yeah.
okay. I gave it an 8. I gave it an 8 only because I really appreciated the fan service. And don't get me wrong, I don't think it was an 8 as in like it was worse than episodes 3 and 4. It was just that it was back to being on a level of just like like a normal level, but still just an exceptional episode. Mainly one because of the of again scale. Again because of character, not character development's off the charts in this episode, because we got to see a lot of origins. We got to see some things happen that we just didn't anticipate. We saw even more shocking situations pop up.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, which again got me in the
And
feels again.
Infinity War vibes.
Yeah, got my emotions going. That right. The whole thing. And but by then I had already watched a couple of recaps where people were talking about, like in episode 4, that the spaghettification. What I had forgotten was that happened in Ant-Man, right? And we saw
Yeah,
the
definitely.
yeah, we saw the Ant-Man multiplies and all that kind of stuff, and then they came up with the theory that Victor Timely, this was he who remains full plan is predicted Victor Timely to be out there and to get spaghettified like that, to get hit by that temporal loom radiation, and basically cause his aura to be spread across the multiverse.
Mm.
So I feel like that's a really good theory. I feel like it tracks, as well as the spaghettification definitely tracks on that part, because it's like, okay, that version of him is gone. That spaghettification means he's gone, but that temporal aura and the way that he expanded out same way was the same way that Scott did in Ant-Man. So we needed that precursor. Once again, Ant-Man serves its purpose. Much as people want to hate Ant-Man,
I mean, it
Ant-Man
always
always
does.
serves its purpose. Always.
Always does.
Yeah. So we saw um, this episode come and be kind of like a different type of penultimate episode, because usually most TV shows, that second from last episode is when everything gets basically finished up, and then you go to the last episode, which is just like okay, we're going to live happily ever after, or whatever the case may be, and then have your final cliffhanger for the next season. But usually all the loose ends are tied up by the penultimate episode. But in this one, they're like, nope, we're going to give you a little bit more information. We're going to drop a lot on you, make you, and like I said, they outdid themselves with the fan service, being that we got to see the backstories. We got to see, might as well go ahead and pop this up here, the spoiler recap. We got to see the backstories. We got to see a lot, what was driving these variants before they become TVA agents, and then also see another Ouroboros startup, where we watched OB go from a struggling science
Science
fiction
fiction
writer,
novelist.
yeah, to an amazing scientist,
Yeah,
just
who
from
doesn't have a wife anymore or a house.
right, exactly. But that wife he left behind, that was the crazy part when that came up, and he was like, "Wow, you did that fast." He was like, "Yeah, if you call it 18 months fast." And now I have no
And
wife,
my wife
no
left me
home.
and I lost my house. So I had to
Mhm.
start living at my
So yeah, so let's skate through this one. So like I said, Loki wakes up after the temporal loom explosion. The TVA is literally falling apart. It's empty. It's starting to spaghettify in different places. He's seeing the time slippage. He saw himself walk in, saw himself walking out. He's seeing all these things happening, and and then he starts time slipping himself. So first person we meet up with is Casey, which I was shocked.
I
That
was like, oh my God, Casey. Oh
yes,
my
to
God.
find out this man was an
You are a
alcoholic,
criminal.
a whole criminal. But then it tracked, right? Because remember, he was collecting all the stuff at the
Oh
TV.
yeah.
He was a whole thief in his past
He
life.
had the damn infinity stones in.
He had all the Infinity Stones. He's like, oh, I just collect these. No, nigga, you stealing. Dog, you stealing. He was a whole thief in the TVA. We didn't even realize it. He's a klepto. That man was a whole
Oh my
klepto. We
God.
didn't even realize it.
I mean,
It didn't even hit us until this episode. I was like, this all
it
makes
just
so much
hit
sense
me.
now. This just makes so much sense now. He was trying to steal during the time heist and the thing. He was like, oh,
I
yeah.
know.
He's like, y'all need this. I mean, can you transfer?
He brought him in there. He picks and put it. I'm like, man, you don't even know what that is. You
He didn't even know what it was. He was like, it
just
looks
pissing
valuable to
me
me.
off. Just
He like,
pissing
it
me
looks
off.
valuable to me. I'm about to go ahead and steal this. So
As
yeah,
soon as I
so
saw him, I was like, I know Casey ain't in jail. What he done did?
It makes sense, though. It makes sense. So
And
they
then I'm
were
thinking, oh, maybe they're all criminals in their former life, and that's why He Who Remains took them. That would make sense. They're
right,
paying their penance. But
right.
then, no, that wasn't the case.
That wasn't the case. We find out Mobius is working. What was his
He
name?
owned his Frank, wasn't it?
Don. Don.
Don.
Yeah,
Okay.
Casey was Frank. Casey was Frank. Mobius was Don. And so Don is in a branch timeline in 2022 Cleveland. He's got, two kids, a wife that
Divorce.
left him. No, not divorced.
Oh.
He up and left him. Remember?
Oh.
It's 2022 though. You know what that means?
Oh. Oh, she. Mm.
When I realized the year, I mean that hurt because it's like
Mm.
he has no clue why his wife disappeared. He has no clue.
Damn.
She
That's
was snapped,
crazy.
literally snapped, and he
That's
doesn't even know
crazy.
it. And
Damn.
I'm just like, wow, wow, more ramifications of that snap.
Damn. That's crazy.
That's why that man don't want to remember that time. He don't want to remember that. I mean, he's got kids, he's got a wife he's trying to, but he's also broken.
Yeah. You can tell. You can see. You can see it. I'm like,
Mhm.
Mobius wouldn't have been happy about this life.
No, not at
And I
all.
feel like I feel like he is very in tune with his emotions, and I feel like the reason why he really didn't want to go back after watching him in his day to even though he sold the little jet skis, had his own little jet ski business, and that was cute to see. But the fact
Mhm.
that he didn't want to talk to his kids was the first thing that I picked up on. Forget
Yes.
the jet skis.
Yeah.
The Mobus I know would want to talk to his kids every freaking waking moment of the day, you
Right.
know? So I feel like all of them have feelings
Yeah.
about who they were. And I truly believe the reason why he wasn't pressed to go see where he was from or what his life was like is because there was a feeling inside of him
Yes.
telling him something about it
This
was
is off.
something he
That this
didn't
is
want.
not what he
Yeah.
wants. Exactly. Yes. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. And
Which
I
which
don't know if he
which is
gonna.
the sad part. It's like what did he do as a variant to lead to him being pruned? What was his Nexus moment that he veered off from,
Right.
but it's a sad situation. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so he meets Don. They go back and forth about the whole jet ski thing. He shows him the old jet ski that he had, but he's like, I don't remember this guy, And Loki's like, I'm trying to let you know that you know me and that we're friends. And then he time slips again. Now he ends up in '94. Great year. I love that year. And he meets Obi, who going by AD Doug, and who's a science fiction writer who just happens to not know much about the Victor Timely just yet. So, um,
Yeah,
you
but
know,
Loki had the book.
Loki had to, but well, this is before Loki had the book. He had to explain to Obi
Oh yeah.
about the time slipping,
Yeah,
trying to
but
get
luckily
his
he was a
input.
scientist as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, he was a scientist as well, so that worked out. They were able to kind of have that conversation, and then finally he was like, you know what? What if I gave you a way to understand better what's happening, what you can do about it, and get me out of this? Hands him the TVA book, and he's like, okay, now you're talking. Now you're talking. So yeah, so they end up he ends up time slipping again. This time he ends up back at Don's timeline, Mobius timeline, and it's at his house, and that's when he gets to see the actual life that he was leading. He shows him the jet ski that his wife had left behind and everything, and then OB pops in out of nowhere through a very archaic looking time door and a time and a temp pad the size of two
Of
laptops.
two. Now
Two
you know what
laptops
I
and a
didn't
toaster.
peg
Two,
though.
two laptops and a toaster.
I didn't peg that B-15 was would have been a doctor.
That was crazy, right? That was crazy. Like she literally was caring for people, and
Yeah,
it's
like
like
I
the
wouldn't have
exact
been. But
opposite.
I mean, now it makes sense why she was so like, oh my god, the timelines have been perverted.
Right. He values life as a
Like,
doctor, right?
yeah,
He values life, and that was the crazy part. So he goes and he convinces her to come along with him, which I thought was that was the only thing that was weird. Casey, yes. Ob, definitely. Mobius, we see now, like, okay, we get it, because he had his whole little
yeah,
monologue
but
about,
not her, but
but not
not her.
her. That was a
Because
weird
she didn't
one.
even talk to he didn't even talk to her the first time he slipped because
Yeah.
he slipped too fast. She just saw him,
Mhm.
was like, oh my god, let me go pray. And
Exactly.
then
Right. Right. But then the other one was now Sylvie, right? He goes to
which I thought
Sylvie.
that was hilarious.
That was like it was fun. It was funny, but it was also confusing because it was like, why did he think that she didn't know him? Like, why he?
But that made me realize that Sylvie ain't right because Sylvie dipped the hell out soon as that loom exploded.
Right.
Sylvie said, "Deuces, hope y'all the best. Wish y'all the
She
best."
didn't even wait to see what happened. She was like,
I
oh,
said she ain't
she was
right.
like, this is about to go to shit. Let me get up out of here. It's
Soon
time.
as I saw that he popped up and she was just like, "Why wouldn't I know who you are?" I
Right.
mean, you just
Exactly.
tried to pull my card and tell me we gods.
Right.
Why
Right.
would I be affected by all this mortal stuff? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm like,
Hmm.
she is so bad because she dipped the hell out. Because I thought that maybe the same thing that happened to them happened to her because she wasn't there when because I understand why nothing happened to him. He Loki.
Right.
It makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Mhm.
maybe if the powers were turned off or something, maybe something would have happened to him.
Right. Right.
But
But they
at
had
the end of the
already
day,
unlocked magic, so he was still
yeah,
protected by
so
his
he
magic.
Loki, so nothing's gonna happen to him, and you know he dead on his timeline. So
Mhm.
what? He ain't even from the right place. So anyway, I just thought that mess was funny because it just revealed so much to me about her
Mhm.
as a person. Like you can't care and be selfish too. Like you
Yeah.
can, but you can't be on your high horse, on your pedestal, on your soapbox about how much you care, and then you dipped out and then he make sure Loki was straight.
Right.
Like
Yeah, at all. At all. She didn't even check, didn't look, didn't go, oh, okay, yeah. Oh yeah, you good. No. She
I
just
gotta
was
work
out.
tomorrow. I gotta work.
Right, right. She had to
I
get
gotta
back to
go. I gotta
McDonald's.
go McDonald's. Like
She went straight back to McDonald's and worked the whole shift. That man out there, he done hit 4, 5 timelines. She done worked a shift at McDonald's. Like what?
but also what was interesting about that scene is before Loki even popped in, her McDonald's bag got spaghetti.
Yeah,
And I
that
said, oh,
was.
maybe
She
Loki
wasn't even
is
peeping
right.
that. She wasn't even peeping that. She just was
Nah,
wait a minute.
this
Kept it
something.
moving.
I'll take my McDonald's. Like, I'm like, girl, your whole McDonald's gone and you just. But my whole thing is this. That was the moment that I realized, like, oh, Loki he's really on to something. Because at first I just was like, man, you're not about what you think you about to do with these people. Like, what is you
Right,
even if you doing this, what do you think you gonna do? Like, I don't
right,
even know what
right,
you
right.
trying to do. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
All he
So,
all he knew is he needed his team back together. That's all he knew. I think that he I don't think he had a plan. He definitely didn't have a plan. I
and
just
you
think
know
he knew
was
he needed to get the band back together.
and I think that was real crazy to me about like the next scene where they went to the bar and she bought him a drink or whatever because they were talking about basically being selfish and what they
Mhm.
wanted and what they desired and he trying to tell her like, we got to give these people a choice. And she like, well, you didn't give them a choice. And she right in that.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's just like, but I want my friends back. And I just,
yeah. That hurt.
because I never like looked at Loki like that. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
Like
right.
Loki is a loner in a sense. You know what I'm
And,
saying?
and that's the crazy part. He actually just wants to be loved. He just wants the love
Yeah.
and the inclusion. And that's what I think he loved about his last days with Thor was that they were including him. They were allowing him to be a part of the team.
Well, I don't think they ever excluded him.
Well,
I
yeah,
think
no,
he excluded himself.
yeah,
They
no,
loved
facts,
him
facts.
deeply.
Yeah,
But I think once you get past your own issues, then you can allow for that to come into your life And I think a lot of the times he realizes that, I mean, he basically said it. What do I do? Where do I go? You
Right.
know, when they're, if they want to be in their worlds and they choose to stay, where do I go? Because now that I'm a new me, I'm not the same person. I don't have the same chips on my shoulder. I think about my mom. I think about my brother. I think about my dad. I think about all the time on earth that I squandered
Right.
walking around with a chip on my shoulder because I just was Loki and I
Right.
wanted to have a chip on my shoulder. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So yeah, that was pretty touchy.
Right. Well, he thought about Thor. He didn't think about poor Balder. He was like, Balder's not that important. I forgot about that part in episode 3. That was hilarious. He was
Yeah,
like,
because
Balder.
even that, I forgot all about that. Even that, looking at him
Mhm.
standing there, looking at that, and
Yeah.
looking at his dad and looking at his brother, and feeling like, I really miss them. But
Yeah.
speaking about it ain't
Like
even
I
gonna
really
make no.
not even that I missed him. I hate that I messed that up.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because I mean, even in our timeline, he did make that grand gesture,
Yeah.
for his brother in the end.
Right.
But and so even you could say on our timeline, he did have that realization of what he had squandered, if you will, because he sacrificed himself to protect his brother.
Right.
But it's just sad. It's sad. It's sad because I feel them. I feel them. Them means your friends. They are your friends. And you want them to be your friends. You want them to be your
Mhm.
friends more than saving the world at the end of the day. And
Right.
I feel
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
because you had a life. Sylvie didn't have a life at all.
Right.
Like the life she knew, she probably don't even remember what them people looked like.
Right. It's
You
off.
know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
she had to settle for something else and be
Mhm.
okay with it and build. But you know the life you had. You know the life you squandered. You
Mhm.
know the family you had. You know the mama you had and what happened to her. You know the daddy you had. You know the brother that you had. And
Right.
for you, even then, you don't even know him as well as the version of you we knew.
Exactly. Yeah. Because
Because where
he
you
only got a chance to take a glimpse at that. He didn't get a chance to feel it all, but he got a chance to take a glimpse, and that was it.
yeah, so it's
Mhm.
like you not only looking at what you did and what you squandered before the Tesseract, but you also kind of wonder and think about the future that you could have had with those people if you didn't, based off new information you have maybe acquired about things that you did do in your life.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
now realizing that theoretically you don't have a life and it's nothing for you to go back to, and you've been living in a timeless place
Right.
messing around with people who not even the people who they say they is, and you done
Exactly.
befriended these people, and now they back in their real lives, and they don't even know who you are. And I mean, I know that's gotta hurt. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's really
So
sad.
Sylvie finally convinces him like, look, you're doing this for a different reason than you think you're doing it for. What are you really trying to do? What are you really trying to accomplish? So he goes back. He starts telling everybody like, you know what, just go back to your timeline.
F it.
I don't know what I'm doing. And then Sylvie starts listening to that record, and then all of a sudden the
Hell
entire
breaks loose.
universe starts her entire universe starts to peel apart, and that was crazy. So then she jumps out of that, goes into the
And we
uh
saw exactly what she did when the TVA blew up. Also, that's what you did. Oh,
exactly
okay.
right, like, oh, let me get up out of here. And so, which was so sad, 'cause that guy, the record store owner, he was like running to her like, Sylvie, and then all of a sudden he's spaghettied out. Oh my god. I was like, oh my god, not again. It was just happening. And then she gets back to Obi's house, and then Obi, Hunter B-15,
Oh my God. That was like, oh my God. I
I
was
was
just like,
like, what is going on? And you know, like
and
the
then
fear, the
When
shock.
Sylvie spaghettified, I was like, oh Lord Jesus, this man is about to go. Just I don't even know what this man is gonna do because
Exactly.
I didn't even expect her to go away.
Right. At
And
all.
I'm like, now see, he must be dreaming. I'm like, because why would Sylvie spaghetti?
Right. Right.
She not even
Like
from this universe.
she couldn't escape the incursion, and that was the
Like,
crazy part. It was like it was happening so fast, and I think it was just like the whole thing falling apart, and just looking at the pure terror in Loki's face. But he's also like, I got to do something about this. I gotta fix this. I gotta, these are my people,
yeah,
and
because
then
the
that's
temp
what made
pad
him finally
actually is
realize,
spaghetti before they started spaghettiing, right?
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. So then
Because I
once
just knew Casey
once
and
he
stuff.
realized that it was the Who that he needed to travel to, boom, he ends up right back in the same room, and then he time slips one more time back to the loom at the TVA before it exploded. Wow, wow, like that episode was crazy. And did you catch the end credit teaser at the end?
No.
So there's a sound clip of Brad at the very end of that episode.
What,
So
them
if
saying what?
if you let the episode play all the way out and go back, um into the credits at the end, I thought I wrote it down. Hold on a second. Loki season 2, episode 5, end credit scene. Here we go. So yeah, it was a Zaniac arcade game line, and what did he say? Yeah, I can't remember what he said exactly. I thought I wrote it down, but it was Zaniac. It was the character that Brad plays. But yeah, um,
I'm gonna have to go watch it.
oh, the voice. Okay, that's what he said. He said, "You died. Insert a coin, loser." So it's like what does that even mean? So
I
yeah,
mean, but like I didn't, Brad was a person that I thought about when Loki came too, because they didn't kill him,
right,
and he didn't get to them in time before everything happened. So I did kind of think about him. I was like, where Brad at? That's what I said. Like when he
right,
was running
right.
around the TVA, I was like, where Brad at?
Oh,
Because
right,
they
right,
didn't
yeah,
kill him. They didn't
exactly,
kill him.
exactly. But now that I'm thinking about it, the voice shouts, "You died. Insert a coin, loser." That's basically what Loki was doing. Every time he was spaghettified, he was
Yeah, he
going
was.
back. He was going back. He was getting another chance. So yeah, so maybe that's what we're gonna kind of see in episode 6, is a constant, almost like Doctor Strange, right? At the end of
Hmm.
the original Doctor Strange movie, is when he kept using the time stone to kind of like, he would lose, reverse it, come back, do it again. So yeah, so maybe we're gonna see something like that in episode 6. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But
It
yeah,
is crazy
episode
for
5
sure.
was a great episode. Um, definitely definitely ready for episode 6. Definitely ready to see where this thing is going, and how it's going to end. Man, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. And
Looking
then Miss
forward to it.
Marvel on Friday, or the Marvels,
Yes, the
or whatever
Marvel
they're called.
starts. Yeah, basically on Friday. Pretty sure this is going to be playing already tomorrow at select theaters. Definitely looking forward to that. I saw a bit of the final trailer yesterday, or maybe today. I saw a little bit of that,
I
and
haven't
got me
watched the trailer
all
since the
the
first trailer.
yeah. I haven't watched a full trailer since then, but this one I caught a little bit just because I was in the middle of doing something, just couldn't avert my eyes. I literally, when those trailers come on, I'll be like, nope, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. But yeah, that one caught me by surprise, and I was just like, let me see.
Did you hear about them talking about like Robert Downey Jr. and them supposed to be coming back?
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I think that's people just speculating, rumor milling, and all that kind of stuff. But I know that there's a bigger rumor going around that Doctor Doom may replace Kang as the as the Phase 6 villain.
That
Which
would just be unfortunate.
it would. I mean, I can see why in a way, but also I just don't want them to be like taking this knee jerk reaction thing. We lost so much time when they did that with James Gunn. They you know
And
blew.
Johnny Depp. Mhm.
Yeah. It's I mean a lot. A lot of situations like this where they just they go with whatever's going on, and they don't look into it a little deeper, or don't allow it to play out, and then we're stuck with not having the content that we're looking for. It's not fair.
Right,
It's not fair.
right.
But
But I mean, I'm glad that. Oh, and the trailer for Echo came out. Did you watch that?
no, I heard the trailer was out. I didn't see that though.
You
I
know
heard it,
what? I
which is
almost didn't
crazy
see it
because like
either.
how are you doing a trailer for Echo and we got whole Daredevil season whatever not coming on time, and like this is gonna be crazy because everything's
I
getting
don't know. It's getting all jumbled and everything.
yeah.
But I almost didn't watch it because I thought the first scene was a scene from Black Widow. I thought they was like, you know how they showed them cut back so the kids walking in the
Oh right,
girls. I thought
yeah.
it was they was paying homage to Black Widow.
Oh really? Oh wow, wow.
So then I watched it because somebody sent it to me, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't watch that because I thought it was a scene, a cut scene from Black Widow." Like
Right, right. Oh wow, that's crazy.
it
That's
looked all right. I don't really know what's up.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm hoping for something good out of that, but like you said, we don't really know. We'll see how it kind of plays out. I'm getting the. I mean, I guess I got to watch the preview to see. But what I was anticipating was another Hawkeye. Like it's going to be like Hawkeye season 2 or something, basically.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably less funny though.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. More because I'm thinking they're probably going to try to fashion some of this stuff after the Netflix shows, kind of get it to feel
Well,
like
I would
them.
like that though. I don't think
Yeah,
Daredevil should lose his grit. I think that's what made it
exactly. Oh
good.
no, yeah,
I think
no,
that's
no
what made
doubt.
it good. I don't think
Yeah,
everything doesn't have to be funny. I like Hawkeye. I rewatch it a lot. It's about to be Christmas. I'm probably gonna rewatch it again because it's good for the holiday season. It makes me laugh. It's
right.
enjoyable. All of them are great. They make me laugh a lot. So it's not
Mhm.
heavy on me. It's not too much to watch. It's just nice and chill and good for the holidays. They did great with that. Um, but like, no, Daredevil should be the Daredevil I watched on Netflix. I want it to be that.
Exactly.
That's what I want it to be. I would not care if it's exactly that because it
Exactly.
was good.
Yo, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to it if they get it all figured out. Hopefully they do, and they can get it to us before 2030.
Yeah, well, it's rough. Well, I heard the AMPTP and SAG-AFTRA have came to a tentative deal as of today.
hmm
So maybe
So we have to
things.
get some work done on some of these shows. Get these
Yeah, I just
series
feel
off the
bad for them.
ground.
I
Yeah.
feel bad for them because they about to be working they butts.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's about to be on and popping for real.
So I
Yeah.
hope they really put some stuff in them contracts for the people who are not. I mean, they can't put nothing for the people that are not in the union, but I really feel bad for non-union workers and people who
Yeah.
are contracted out because they about to wreck them now. Now that
Yeah.
they about to have them back on them sets, them
hmm
people about to get wrecked. That's
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. The
Because they got to make up
hours
for a
about to
lot
be
of lost
crazy. The
time.
days about to be crazy. Right. Exactly.
Yep,
Exactly.
and they just put out a teaser for Stranger Things 5 today. Netflix is
Really.
doing they geekdom right now, so they
Oh
dropping all their
wow.
shows. I'm sure tomorrow they probably gonna drop some information about Wednesday, like a
Mhm.
release date or something like that, because they behind. So soon as this strike, it's people gonna be on plane. If this deal is signed tomorrow, it's actors gonna be on flights tomorrow to go be on sets that's ready for
Exactly.
them.
Right.
Like,
Right.
seriously. And
Yeah.
what's really crazy though is some of them actors who like doing like A24 movies or something like that. Cause I know like Jenna Ortega is shooting a movie right now for A24 and a couple of other people because they did like a contractual thing with the union, and they were approved to still shoot movies. So some actors are still working.
Got you.
And but like she had to stop shooting Beetlejuice because of the strikes. They were in the middle of shooting Beetlejuice.
Right.
So now they have to shoot Beetlejuice. If they haven't started shooting Wednesday, when are they going to shoot that? Because they're all the way in Romania doing that. And the
Yeah.
director of Wednesday is also the director of Beetlejuice, but she is on set
Really?
working on yeah, because Tim Burton.
Oh,
You
wow.
see what I'm
That's
saying?
crazy. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and she working on another film right now. So,
Right.
what I'm really worried about is what is about to happen to a lot of these films that are in development still, with actor schedules. What is
Right.
going to happen, because they were already saying she might not be in Scream 8 or whatever many it is,
Yeah.
because, or they're going to push her role back, scale her role back because of the actor strike. And she got all these shows that was supposed to be technically done by now
Right.
that are not. Like Last of
Yeah,
Us is going to start
when you're
production.
lining up work like that, and then now it's about to be
Mhm.
overlapping, that's a whole different problem.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's big
Mhm.
problem. That's big problem.
Yep. Yep, because they were supposed to shoot Wednesday over the summer. They were supposed to shoot Last of Us over the summer. I mean, Stranger Things over the summer.
Yeah.
So, it's
Yeah.
gonna be an interesting thing that we see, because we're gonna lose a lot of actors in certain things, and they're gonna have to shift a lot of stuff around.
We'll see. We'll see how they do it. And hopefully they get it together and we don't lose too much content because we need the content. We need the content. You know, we need the content. Speaking of content, make sure you guys get over to our Facebook and our YouTube and our Twitch. For all the shows that we have, got plenty of content here at GFT Radio Show. Mondays at 10 p.m. at the GFT Radio Show with all the podcasters together. We have our How to Hustle podcast with Hype on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. You know where to find me and Chevy right here on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. We'll be right back with episode 6 once that drops, and we get some time to take a look at that, and then we'll be back with y'all next week. We might even do a couple of whispers about the Marvels if we've seen it by then. And then Sex with Sunny, 2 Fridays out the month, 6 p.m. Make sure you guys check that out. And then be on the lookout. Sunny's got a little surprise for you guys coming up soon. So make sure you guys be on the lookout. You got to like, share, subscribe, and be in the know, with that notification bell. So make sure you do that so you can be aware of when she drops her new show. So she's got a new show coming up. So be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, Chevy, tell the folks where they can find you.
You can find me at S the Superstar on Instagram, S the Superstar on Twitter, and Chevy the Superstar on Twitch. Not really doing anything right now. So, just living.
It's all we can ask you to do. It's all we can ask. But it's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Get at me everywhere at Willie Styles on IG, Twitter, and Threads. I'm Willie.Styles on Snapchat and TikTok. You can visit me over at stylesradio.com for all the hot tracks that I'm listening to. WillieStyles.info for all my links. Make sure y'all check that out. Make sure y'all get at us over at GFTRadioshow.com. And until next time, we are out.